Hello, friends. Today we are going to be talking about subtracting multi-digit whole numbers. Yesterday we talked about addition, and we're moving on to subtraction. Our objective today is I can fluently subtract multi-digit whole numbers using the standard algorithm. So pretty much the same as yesterday, except we are using subtraction. So I'm going to go through this first part a little bit quicker. The first step when you are subtracting is obviously to line up the numbers correctly, each digit in the correct spot. Like I mentioned yesterday, if you are off at all, it will mess the entire thing up. And let me give you an example of that. If I am subtracting, let's use big font, 245,123 minus 6,421. I'm going to need to be able to line those up correctly. So, oops, too big. I'm looking like I was doing yesterday with addition. I need to start at the ones place. If I see the ones place in this second number, I see it is a 1. And the ones place over here in this first number is a 3. Those need to be lined up. If I start from the left and I line up the 6 with a 2, I'm going to be lining up the 100,000s with the thousands, which from yesterday we know does not work. Once you have it lined up correctly, then all you need to do is start subtracting. The only issue is when the number on top is smaller than the number on bottom, then you have to regroup. A lot of us say we have to borrow from the neighbor. Regrouping is what we're actually doing. So like in this case, 78 minus 26, the 8 in the ones place and the 6 in the ones place, the 8 is greater. So all I need to do is do 8 minus 6. There's nothing else I really need to do. If you're looking at this example, 42 minus 26, the 2 in the ones place is less than the 6 in the ones place. And you guys know I always remind you of this. You can't go backwards and say, oh, the 6 is greater than the 2, so it must be 4. That is not how it works. So we're going to go ahead and move on to subtracting across zeros. Those can be a little bit complicated because you have to go and borrow from a neighbor, but when the neighbor doesn't have anything to give, then you have to figure out, well, what do I do now? So like in this case, we have 263,713 minus 252,604. So in this case, I'm starting with my ones. My 3 I know is less than 4, and I cannot do it backwards and do 4 minus 3. So I need to change my 3 into a 13 and regroup regroup from the neighbor, the tens place. The tens place already had 1, so it goes down to a 0. 13 minus 4 equals 9. 0 minus 0 equals 0, and then the rest of it I wouldn't have to regroup. But if you're looking at a number like this, like 500,000 minus 379,852, it could be a little bit more complicated. So if you could see, the numbers are lined up correctly, and there are all zeros over here except for the 1, 5 that's in the 100,000 spot. So since I can't do 0 minus 2, and I definitely can't do 2 minus 0, I need to make that a 10 and borrow from the neighbor, except the neighbor doesn't have anything. So I need to go to the next neighbor. That neighbor doesn't have anything. I need to keep on going until I find a neighbor that actually has something, and that is my 5 in the 100,000s place. Since my 5 has some to give, he's going to give some to his neighbor. He's not going to give it all the way to the ones. He's going to give some to the 10,000s place, which makes him a 10. And that 10 is going to turn into a 9 because he's giving some to his next neighbor, which is in the thousands place. So that changes my thousands place to a 10, except now he needs to give some to his neighbor, which turns him into a 9 and the hundredths place into a 10, and so on until I finally get to the tens place. The tens place turns into a 10, but we know that from the beginning my ones place needs some. So the ones place is going to borrow from the tens place, which was now a 10. That turns into a 9. And now that I have this, I could subtract all the numbers to get 120,148. Okay, your next step, you have a subtraction sheet on Google Classroom. It is just a regular worksheet. If you do not have a printer, don't worry about it. Just copy the problems down. This is for your practice. You do not need to submit anything. What you do need to submit is the exit ticket. It has two, I believe, subtraction problems. You need to solve those problems and submit that, and that'll be your exit ticket for math today.